Namaskar everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Inner Peace Workshop organized by Ramashram Satsang Mathura. Ramashram Satsang Mathura is a non-profit organization that strives to promote peace, harmony, and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards achieving this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us start with a brief history of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. On November 3, 1883, a noble soul, Param Sant Dr. Chaturbhut Sahai Ji, was born in the northern Indian province of Etah. He would later become the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He studied Urdu, Farsi, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electrohomeopathy and possessed basic knowledge of Ayurveda that he used for selfless social service. Dr. Chaturbhut Sahai Ji, our Guru Maharaj, met Lala Ji Maharaj, his Guru, also known as Dada Guru, during the course of his Ayurveda practice in Fatehgarh. Over the years, their association gradually deepened. During an epidemic, they had the opportunity to spend more time together. Guru Maharaj experienced an indescribable dissemination of intrinsic power towards him whenever he was in the company of Dada Guru. It was during this time that Dada Guru passed on the knowledge of this unique method of meditation to Guru Maharaj. There were no spoken words or scriptures read. There was just a silent transfer of knowledge, reliving the Guru-disciple tradition yet again. Our system of meditation is based on what Guru Maharaj learned from Dada Guru that day. In 1919, Dada Guru directed Guru Maharaj to propagate this system of meditation to as many seekers as possible. Guru Maharaj, upholding the ethics of the Guru Shishya Parampara, followed his Guru's directive in letter and spirit. He dedicated his entire life towards propagating this little-known but unique method of meditation and influenced thousands of spiritual seekers who he came into contact with, without any discrimination based on religion, social, or economic status. Due to Guru Maharaj's efforts and Dada Guru's blessing, the satsang's popularity increased at a fast pace. In 1931, Dada Guru Maharaj personally attended the first spiritual congregation, or Bhandara, organized by Guru Maharaj in Etah, where he used to reside during that time. Let us now explore the origins of Dada Guru, also known as Param Sant Sri Ramachandra Ji Maharaj. He was born in 1873 in Manipuri in northern India. He studied English, Urdu, and Farsi and worked as a government official in Farrukhabad. Although as a young man, Lalaji, as he was lovingly called, imbibed religious virtues from his mother, his spiritual journey did not truly begin until he received initiation from a spiritually enlightened man, Maulana Shah Fazl Ahmad Khan Sahib, also known as Hazur Maharaj, a follower of Islam. This great Sufi saint, Hazur Maharaj, took the revolutionary step of imparting spiritual knowledge to a disciple who was not a follower of his own religion, thus exemplifying that spirituality is above and beyond the barriers of religion, caste, and creed. He facilitated the enlightenment of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji, thus setting in motion the events that would culminate in the establishment of Ramashram Satsang. The Rs 150 commemorative coin that you see here was released recently, marking the 150th birth anniversary week of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji. It is a tribute to a saint who promoted the evolution of human consciousness, thus rendering a great service to mankind, and with whose blessings Ramashram Satsang Mathura came into being. Let us now introduce some other saints in the Ramashram Satsang family. An epitome of piety, purity, and compassion, Jia Ma was spiritually empowered and had been declared spiritually proficient by 3 gurus, Dada Guru Maharaj, Mahatma Raghuveer Dayal Ji, and Fakir Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan Sahib. This was unprecedented at that time. For Jia Ma, all followers were her children. She treated everyone in the family with love and compassion and tirelessly attended to the ones who needed help. Pandit Mihilal Ji and Guru Maharaj's eldest son, Dr. Brijendra Kumar Ji, conducted satsang activities under Jia Ma's guardianship. Pandit Mihilal Ji played a very important role and made extensive contributions to the propagation and proliferation of the Satsang. The current form of the Satsang in India is mainly due to Panditji Maharaj's ardent hard work. He held the important post of the editor of the Sadhan magazine for several years, and his contribution to the Satsang literature has been immense. Dr. Brijendra Kumarji worked closely with Panditji in shaping the Satsang. Subsequently, several prominent personalities like Hemendra Kumarji and Narendra Kumarji served the Satsang and are continuing to do so. One of them is respected Sanjeev Kumarji. Sanjeev Kumarji is a meditation practitioner with over 40 years of experience. He has been facilitating guided meditation sessions in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area and across the US for the last 2 decades. Sanjeev Ji is also the president of Ramashram Satsang Mathura Incorporated. He believes that by following the meditation technique developed by his grandfather, Guru Maharaj Ji, it is possible to reduce the impact of stress, anxiety, and depression that modern life places on the mind and body. He is strongly motivated to make a meaningful impact in people's lives and increase the peace and happiness we can experience day to day by following the peaceful lifestyle promoted by the principles of Satsang. Throughout the workshop, you will be guided by an experienced spiritual leader, Sanjeev Ji, who will help you learn the technique to find inner peace and overcome stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. You will also have the opportunity to interact with other like-minded individuals during the breakout session after the meditation. Here, during the question and answer session, you will be able to ask any questions that you may have after experiencing the meditation session. We believe that inner peace is essential for a fulfilling life, and we hope that this workshop will help you find that peace within yourself. We urge you to approach the workshop with an open mind, be receptive to new ideas and techniques, and participate actively in the session. We wish you a rewarding and enriching experience during the workshop. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Ramashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing a facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief introduction to this weekend workshop. If you direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in this life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of 2 words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important element of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are 2 types of Satsang, inner Satsang and outer Satsang. An example of outer Satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer Satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The Satsang that you will learn today is an inner Satsang, where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice Satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instruction will be given on how to practice, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, he has over 40 years of satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members attain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, along with his wife, he continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English. And he has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout India and the United States facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Try to understand a little deeper how to achieve inner peace as prescribed by Guru Maharaj, Dr. Chaturbhuj Sahaji. So first, he himself achieved peace that was lasting and consistent through the guidance and approach provided by his Guru Lalaji Maharaj. So in his conclusion, the first thing he emphasized is every human being should follow a universal religion. And that religion, or the objective of that inherent duty every human being should have, is that to achieve inner peace, an ocean of inner peace. So finding an ocean of inner peace should be the universal human religion. So that was point number 1. And number 2, he said that inner peace is within. So it's futile to go and do all these outward worldly things, and you can acquire as many material things as you want, but that is not going to give you inner peace. I sometimes feel that, look at Bill Gates, for example. He achieved an enormous amount of power, status, money, and whatever one want to have. But then in his retirement, he decided to pursue service of humankind. You know, if he had achieved his goals within the first phase, he wouldn't need to go and do something else. So that something else was to serve the humankind. So I think the materialistic pursuits that all of us tend to follow today are not going to provide that inner peace. So Guru Maharaj's prescription was find inner peace within, and that orientation inwards, changing the direction of this pursuit, I think is essential. And then the third thing is to find inner peace within. You got to pursue what he called inner pursuits. So as opposed to outward or outer pursuits, activities, you have to go into deep meditation, look inwards, orient yourself inwards, and pursue those activities called Antarik Satsang, or inner pursuits that will eventually lead you to lasting inner peace. So first, your entire focus ought to be to achieve inner peace. Find this ocean of peace and not only achieve it for yourself, but help others to achieve that as well. You will not find it outside, so look inwards. And third, after changing your direction to look inwards and orient yourself inwards, you have to then inner pursuits like satsang, where do practices of deep inner meditation that will take you there. But then he also added a fourth dimension to this, and that is that there is a very, very easy way to achieve inner peace. And that, he said, is to find someone who is at peace, and just by being with them, you would be at peace. And that is why satsang as a concept, satsang, to be with positive energy, is not only a deeper meditation practice, but it is also to be with someone who has achieved that state, can take you there, like literally as soon as you are with them. This is what he actually did himself. He found someone who was in a very consistent, deep, infectious, state of inner peace. So he found someone who was like that, and he imitated, observed, and was in presence of that inner peace, and hence achieved that. So one of his basic tenets of his philosophy was that you have to have a GPS. If you want to go to the destination, you need to have that guiding system that will take you to your destination. And that is essentially another important aspect of satsang. It is a guided meditative method to achieve inner peace. So you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So there was a lag on the screen on the video, but I think at least the voice was clear. So I think once a month we'll just move the online thing to in-person. Start the in-person again. Today, actually, there was a booklet that my grandfather wrote on how do we create a meditative practice which is lasting, which is, something which will actually be effective in transforming your life to be really peaceful, right? We talk about inner peace, but how do we actually gain inner peace, right? So I don't know how many people still remember there used to be an axe that you use, like there is a metallic, sharp edge, made of iron, and then there is a wooden stick, and you hit. So he says that you need both the metallic part to cut through, and then so the sharp-edged metallic part and the wooden piece that holds it together, they form a powerful combination capable of knocking down even the largest of the trees. So both components are required. Neither one alone would be able to do that job. So he says, similarly, you need a practice which, so we call it practice, but he says practice is the sharp edge part of the axe. Practice is like the metallic portion, and that clears our mind of the unwanted elements and cuts through the, what he calls the ignorance. But then there is this wooden part, which is more like detachment. And we have talked about detachment every now and then. But, I think this detachment is the part that I think somewhat misunderstood, right? But he says that practice and detachment both need to go together to make it really effective. Okay, so otherwise it'll be suboptimal. So then he says, okay, let me describe what the practice should look like. So it's extremely important for, somebody who wants to inculcate a deep, and strong practice. It says regularly, day after day, one should keep practicing at a designated time. Missing even a single day of practice results in slipping and sliding, and you regress back. Serenity, purity, cleanliness are very essential. So external as well as internal. So you have to think about the place, your own clothes, your body, your mind. So the place should be clean and peaceful. And if you can designate a place, that'll be awesome. And we have talked about, how group sessions help. I mean, when in India we meet in a group, it's like hundreds and thousands of people. So one can practice alone, but practicing in a group yields faster results. Positive energy is abundant in group practices, and he says that in Christianity, in Islam, the religions have always talked about, prayers in groups, right? Because so many believe that a meditation practice needs to be an individual practice, which is definitely there. But the experience says that in a group, the benefits amplify. So it does not double or quadruple, but amplifies more times than that. And so practicing individually versus in a group, and that I think I have said many times. I personally felt that many times, that in a group, what I would individually do. So if individually I get an X, in a group I'll get 10X, sometimes even 100X. So then he says that the right mindset and a firm resolve is required to create an effective practice. The thought process behind it should be strong and, strong conviction. Then he goes into some other stuff. So the mindset you need to have is, so another thing that he emphasized several times was, is your practice towards a temporary gain, or you're looking for lasting benefits? So, and Eddie, we have talked several times about do you want to manifest something material, or do you want to manifest transcendental energy that we do here? So a systematic practice, learn from somebody who have been there, done that, that would connect you to the universal consciousness, the source of infinite light and knowledge. With this connection established, the seeker starts receiving a robust stream of positive energy, and that falls in form of light and illuminates their heart and mind, and then permeates throughout the body. So it goes on, but I thought this was like, so interestingly, in July, we will probably have a bigger, I'll start working on, so the book that needs to come out, so the title is come out to be The Ocean of Peace. So it's, right. And so we are also working on online, a 5-week online course. So in July, what I'm thinking is that I'll open it up to some of the, so far it has been a very almost isolated, let's try to focus on English sessions, but I feel the traditional folks who have been doing this in Hindi, the next generation is all English speaking, right? So I want to dedicate a few sessions just for the next generation, for the younger folks. And that'll be obviously open to all of us as well, because, the presence of folks who have, developed the practice a little bit helps for the younger folks. When younger folks are in there, I'm telling you, the energy becomes slightly different. It's so anyway, so now let's practice, and then we'll open up for more discussion. So first things first, let's sit in a relaxed posture, eyes lightly closed. And my yoga instructor actually tells me, close your eyes and observe your breathing, and, balance your breathing, observe all parts of your body, and make sure there is no strain anywhere. So idea is that you are in a relaxed posture and a still posture. So every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So relaxed posture, eyes lightly closed. And the idea is that every time, sensory input comes through eyes, or your body moves, your mind gets distracted. So we want to minimize that. Once that is done, now feel the presence of this transcendental energy in form of light right here, right now, in front of us, around us, surrounding us. And this light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming one with this light. Now, I have talked about dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. Those are the 3 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So now Guru Maharaj talks about that the concentration, meditation, and higher consciousness, those 3 actually are literally definition of self discipline. So this restraint or discipline creates a formidable power and extraordinary ability. So a yogi advanced to a stage where dharana, dhyan, and samadhi are effective for the yogi, then they can utilize this ability to the betterment and upliftment of themselves and people around them. So this self-discipline of the mind confers a great peace upon us and then transforms our behaviors, our disposition, our temperament, and this, if done right, so this inward orientation, concentration, meditation, and higher consciousness can create fearlessness and happiness. The worries disappear. A person who has advanced to a higher consciousness stage remains carefree and radiates joy. Therefore, we need to progress to this stage of self-discipline, which basically the practice that we will do. So concentration, meditation, higher consciousness, that creates a state within us, which, it's like you become carefree, very free, and you radiate joy almost inherently. So coming back to, so all these four things are very inherently integrated into the practice that we will do. So again, relaxed posture, eyes slightly closed, and think of this transcendental energy right here, right now, in front of us, in form of light, and that light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming completely immersed and one with this light. So we will transition in through music, and then music will fade away, and we'll be in deep silence and meditate on transcendental energy in silence. And then we'll transition out of music. Let's start now. Okay. Wow. Today was, I think, first 70% probably was a good meditation for me. After that, I don't know what happened. It's like suddenly as though you're sitting in a noisy room. It's like very weird how noisy your inside can be. It's, So any questions, any comments, any sharing from group?
I wonder.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was saying, I find it for me, after a while, my mind starts to wander, and I have to always force myself to come back. And that is my problem, I think. Yes. Mm.
So this observation that, the mind keeps going to different places is very, very, very common in meditation. I think essentially practicing more is just for that. Because so there are two things. One is that we're trying to move from like mind going to different places, different thoughts, different aspects. We're trying to go inwards and focus on this energy. Mind doesn't want to do that. Mind is like, I want to keep playing with my toys. So there are techniques. So one of them is like when you, like music, for example, music helps. Even chanting, prayers help. But that only help in concentration, right? You get a little concentrated, but our goal should be that we go in deep meditation, where there is not just concentration, but it's like you go beyond that. And beyond that in the sense that in deep meditation, you forget about where you are, who you are, no thinking. Because when you don't think, then you don't know where you are, who you are, right? The interesting thing while talking about inner peace and my grandfather's book on his journey. So there is a chapter on peace. The more, I must have read it so many times, but when I started reading it to explain, then three aspects came out. One, that if there is no thought, then we cannot go in the past or future, right? If there is no thought, there is no past going back. So your mind is not going here or there, right? So the advantage of that is that you cannot worry. So how do we worry? We worry because we are thinking about the past or the future. So if I don't have a thought, then I'm neither in future or the past. So that was like, So how does meditation help worry or anxiety? It's like as soon as you go into deep meditation, you're out of worry and anxiety, period. Right? But then there is another aspect in which, the first time I actually practiced mindful meditation, like breathing exercises. So when I might be thinking about so many things, but then I started focusing on my breathing. As soon as I did that, where am I? Now I'm not in the past, I'm not in the future, I'm observing the present moment, right? So that's the second aspect of meditation. Most meditations will bring you to the present moment. So rather than in the past or future, so So being in the present moment, and if being in the present moment without thought, those two things. And then what happens is that at that time, the classic example my father used to talk about is the river is flowing. It has energy, right? River is flowing. But when you create a dam on it, the dam actually stops that flow. But then when you do a controlled release of that water, then the turbines kick in and it can create electricity for the entire city or entire set of cities. So that's what happens with your mind. There is an energy flow. But once you control that energy and you divert that energy in a specific direction, then things that you cannot even think about yourself, you can do with that energy. And in India, like when I was a kid, I have seen, there would be yogis with all the, saffron clothes and all that, but they would come. I actually remember, so one person would come, my mother and I were like just interacting, and they would tell future, they will, things which are not normal, right? And my grandfather writes, that's no big deal. Once you create this, this energy, which then you concentrate, you can leverage that for many, many, many things. And my grandfather's view was, do not use it for material gain. Don't use it for those kind of things. Instead, apply that energy to lift yourself further up. And then you get to this higher awareness, higher consciousness. And, I mean, what I have learned, like enlightenment sounds like, oh gosh, it's such a tough thing. But no, it's practice, add a few more things to it, and whatever you earn in terms of these mental powers, apply it, and you will get that. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's that's it. So, but easier said than done, because if I had any power to tell your future or read you like a book or blah blah blah, then what happens is, like, I'll start using that, because that is how a lot of people in the spiritual realm create following. It's like, oh, I can do this, I can demonstrate this power. And then so instead, I think the focus should be to leverage the power to get to higher consciousness. So happy Saturday, everyone. Anybody online? Jeff, Karen, Lynn.
Nothing else. Not much. I've been doing good, a lot good on my meditation.
So what did you say? You're doing good?
Yes, yes, I'm very good on my meditation.
Awesome. Good to hear. I think, Lynn, you joined late today, I guess. Were you able to catch the meditation?
As I was able to catch my breath. I'm using my slightly deep breath. And when I use a deep breath, try to calm myself down.
Yeah.
And that's why I observe the surrounding.
Perfect. So anyone else?
Pranam Bhaiya.
Yeah. Jita, how are you?
I'm very well. I just had a question. I was wondering if there's any recommendation around whether should be the sequence if one does yoga, as in the physical yoga of asanas and pranayam, and then does meditation. So, is there a recommendation around what should the sequence be like? Should one just, like, in the morning, wake up, freshen up, and do meditation first, or should one do yoga, physical yoga first, and then meditate?
So, so first of all, I think in terms of various parts of the Ashtanga yoga, so there is the behavior aspect, there is keeping your body and breathing proper, then there is meditation. Essentially, what Guru Maharaj says is that all these kind of cohesively need to work together. If you meditate, you will realize what you need to do to keep your body, more healthier, and with the inner strength you gain through that, you will be able to apply some self-discipline that you gain. The interesting thing is, to do better meditation, you need to have a healthy body and breathing as well. And then behavior would get better if you are, meditation definitely helps better behavior. So I wouldn't say there is a sequence. It is all needs to go hand in hand. And especially in today's schedules, the busy schedules, I would say, whatever sequence works, so far as we can find time for meditation and we can find time for our workouts and yoga and other practices, I think it's all good.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
So Eddie, what's the wrap up?
Just to sort of review what you said about establishing a good meditation practice. Just wanted to make mention that in this system of satsang, you've previously talked about the 5 levels and and how these veils exist between those levels, basically. Now, during our practice, just to get people a visual to help them in their practice, during our practice, each time you sit and meditate, those veils slowly start to be removed. They slowly start to cleanse and be removed. And so by doing a regular practice over a period of time, all of them will be removed. And you'll ultimately experience that ocean of peace that Sanjeev talked about. So, just kind of keeping that in mind helps you, I don't know, it sort of helped me understand why I should practice meditation every day. Those sheaths do become removed. And as they do, you become more enlightened, if you will. You become more knowledgeable, and you become happier, and you're able to help people around you, so forth and so on. So, it's just something that you should do to better yourself and better the world around you. And this practice does that for you.
So Luz, anything?
Hey everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm here actually in person, so it's kind of cool. Hello. It's good to see you all, as always. Happy Saturday. And today was interesting. I was here last week too in person, and I think the time of day matters for me. I'm not sure, but my meditation was a little better today. Maybe less distracted. There's a strange, faint smell of nature in here, even though I'm in an auditorium. I'm not really sure why. Maybe just getting here, I'd gone through in a car, in a car, and I smelled it, and it's still in my nose. But it's nice. That's nice. I heard distant chatter outside, so it's like I keep thinking about every week somebody mentioned something about that they couldn't, that their thoughts took over at some point and they couldn't hold the meditation. And I'm not sure if Sanjiv would agree with me, but in other meditation practices I've heard, and I believe, and I'm sure I don't know what Sanjiv would think, but I think the goal is to get to that place where you don't have that happening. But I don't think it's bad necessarily that it happens. Like, it's a natural thing, right? Our brain is never really, I think Sanjiv mentioned last week, our brain is always moving, always thinking, always alive. And it's interesting, in the past I've heard, okay, when these thoughts surface, just observe them. And that's an interesting process as well, to see, oh, that's the thought that comes up. That's interesting. I'll put it in the drawer, but I'll think about that later. But it's interesting that thought came up, and then maybe kind of try to get back to the meditation, whether it be through breathing or just quietly telling the thought to wait. Hey, I'll get back to you, But I always find it interesting to see which thoughts arise in my mind, just as an objective observer, and then just tell it, oh, I'll get back to you. Anyway. It's just my thoughts for today, but it's great meditation as always.
So, wow, that's very interesting. So one sentence that I caught was, it takes me back to when my father actually talked about meditation should be observing your thought processes rather than forcing them out. So, because yes, the goal eventually is to get to a state where naturally, interestingly, observing. So it's like, think about it this way, and I may be going on a tangent here, but if you were observing your kids, if they know that you're observing, they will be better behaved, right? It's almost like that. Like, as soon as you start observing your thoughts, something happens. And so he emphasized in one of his discussions, he said, like, it's more important to observe than to kind of, because somewhere else he said, like, it's like a spring. If you just force it too hard, it'll be a reaction later. So it's better to observe and slowly, cleanse. It's more, I think both Guru Maharaj and Father would refer to it as cleansing process rather than forcing it to blanking your mind. So that was interesting. But more interesting was that Shivangi and I were talking this morning about those three states, where one state is when you feel very positive, very uplifted, and then there is a state where you're very lethargic, don't want to meditate. When you close your eyes, it's almost like instead of light, you see dark. Sometimes nothing moves, and you don't feel very refreshed after either. And then there is this other state, which I think I saw a glimpse of, and it got triggered by, in the distance, there was some kids, screaming. It was very slight, but I heard that, and then it triggered something. It just, so there are states where you close your eyes and it's like a movie, and you observe just, sometimes it's like very fast moving. You observe things that you have seen before and even things that you haven't seen before. And so those three states, and I was actually talking about that, yeah, that happens, but it doesn't matter to me anymore. It just, it's like part of my meditation. It's not that I'm looking for this only. It's any of those states. And sometimes, so what was funny, or we both found funny, was, it's dark, it's lethargic, it's, you don't even feel like, but I'm okay with that. So it's, sometimes I feel that, that inertness is like making me almost inactive, and I find it fine. so yeah, it's, you're right. Because sometimes when we say this is a good meditation versus not so good, etc., then there are phases in which you don't get to good meditation very easily, and that could distract you from your practice. So our father used to say, like, no, if you were cleaning a room, the dirt might come up a little more, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't clean. So that's how. All right, very good. So I think this in-person transition will take a little bit, but my thought pattern is, I like this room, I really do, and you kind of mentioned it too. And now it connects the online very, very quickly and easily, and so once or twice a month, I think. So I am going to book this for, so I think the next in-person would be May 27th. And then in June, there are a couple of different options. So I am going to pick whatever. My idea is, like, especially this 10 a.m., instead of doing it at home, I'll just do it here. These people said, like, it's already set for like a theater later in the day. I said, that's fine. Just, I'll just come here. So, all right, very good. I think, all right, very good. So, so Shivangi, anything else you want to share? I think share the YouTube channel. I think we're adding a few more videos in the next couple of weeks now. And I have recorded some videos specifically for the online course now. So we'll hopefully, to the folks here, we'll try to get them on a beta program to, sort out that. Yeah. So Shivangi, anything else?
Yeah, so I'll add the link tree to the chat, and
Okay.
that has the links to all our socials and all our groups.
Perfect. Very good then. see you all. Have a great week ahead, and we'll see you online. And then May 27th, I think another in person. I'm actually next weekend, I'm also having a follow-on meeting to the Hyderabad session that I did while I was in India. So, so I think, let's see. So in the southern part of India, there's non-Hindi speaking folks. So we're trying to utilize this English session to, get some focus there as well. So let's see. And then in July, I think I'll open it up to the next generation because there is a lot of folks who have been exposed. Some of them are like in third generation, fourth generation satsangis, but the new generation is like, I don't read Hindi, I don't get it. So I think this might help as well there.
Yeah, and just a quick note, our Tuesday 7 p.m. and Saturday 10 a.m. virtual sessions will continue. So the link remains the same. I've added the link in the chat, and I'll be sending out the reminder emails. So the virtual sessions will go alongside the in-person sessions. So that stays the same for everyone.
All righty. On that note, have a great week ahead. Take care.
Thanks.
Happy Saturday. Thanks, Karen. Take care.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.